feature this hammer in your video.
Okay, thank you. Ryan has given me a hammer. Hi friends, I decided to make another video. Take this hammer out of here. Today's video is my Indie August video. I promised it was coming. I know it's a little late, but I was late with July and this is just how it goes. It turns out Indie August is a real thing. I know Indie April is a real thing, and then I made up that the rest of the months of the year are also indie because I think we should be reading indie all the time, but apparently Indie August is also real. Any months start with an A, I guess. So I have a selection of 6 books that I'm going to be showing you today. Yes, 6 books. 2 indie books I've already read, an indie book that I have an arc of that I've already mentioned, 2 indie books that I will be reading, and my Members TBR pick actually is an indie book this month. I will get into all of the membership stuff when it comes up at the end of the video, but part of my channel thing is if you become a member, you can pick a book for me to read every month, and this month it is an indie book, so Indie August. But before all of that, coincidentally, I just received my first ever Broken Binding subscription box, so I'm gonna open it. And you're just gonna have to wait. You will wait for your indie books. I almost just cut my entire thumb off. I was gonna like pop the lid off, but I almost slid my thumb up the blade. So cool, I didn't though. You may be like, Julia, you've had Broken Binding books before, what are you talking about? Yes, but this is the first subscription box. I've purchased their standalone books before and I've received them as gifts. I only just recently became a tier 2 subscriber. Now I'm advertising the Broken Binding, not sponsored. I lost the lid for my knife, so that's just gonna go over there. Was that good ASMR? I should make sure I don't like set this on fire. I really want to. Stop! Bubble wrap. Oh, and there's a bonus color map thing. The reason was, I forget the whole explanation, but there was a lot of delay with the shipping for book 1, so they included like a bonus art piece to appease the masses. If you're a Broken Binding subscriber, do you save your stickers? Okay. You know what? I like it. There's a lot of controversy surrounding this art. I'm not gonna get into it because I don't care. I don't care to the point of, don't be mean to people though, okay? Like, calm down. But I think that in person, I like this a lot more than I did online. I'm really gonna put this book into that candle. I need to stop. Someone needs to stop me. Video time. So as I mentioned, I have actually read 2 of the books I'm gonna be talking about today. I don't think I had read any of the July books at the time of filming. I've read them now, but I can actually recommend some books to you finally. So the first book I'm going to talk about for Indie August is The Garden Maze by Isaac Anderson. Now, Isaac did send me this copy, so thank you so much, Isaac, for sending me this. I read it right away because it was very short and it was very intriguing. I really liked it. If you were to only read the blurb text on the back, you would not have a great idea of what this book is about. It basically describes the walls of the garden maze being tall, the scent of the flowers is intoxicating, the creatures that live within the maze are kind of messed up, and anyone who goes in might not come out, and if they do, they will be different. That's all you really get from reading the back, but honestly, that's enough for me. This book, was the perfect book for me to read. I've talked a lot and actually made entire videos about my love for children's horror, just the whimsy, creepy insanity that is spooky books for a younger audience. Now, I don't know specifically the age range this is for. I don't think it's an adult book, and having read it, I don't believe it's an adult book. I think it would be maybe middle grade to young adult. If I'm wrong, Isaac, I'm sorry, but that's how it read. Before I get into the story itself, this book is giving Alice in Wonderland, but like creepier. It's giving Over the Garden Wall with the exact same amount of creepiness, and it's giving The Butcher of the Forest by Premi Muhammad, but less adult. And then unrelated, it made me want to replay Labyrinthine, which is one of my favorite horror games of all time. It also features cute head of chapter illustrations that I think are very, very nice. Look at those, these are so fun. And you can see from me flipping through it, it's very short chapters. Super fast read, very engaging. It took me a little bit at the start to really like find a rhythm and get into it, but once I was into it and the like horror elements started coming in, I adored this. I think I am the target audience for The Garden Maze. The story itself is very broad. We follow a character called the Squire as he obviously ends up in the Garden Maze. And in the same vein as Alice in Wonderland, he's kind of just making his way through trying to understand what the heck is going on, meeting a whole cast of characters, some creepy, some good, some cool, some evil. I felt that the ending was a little bit rushed. I would have liked to see it fleshed out a little more, if only just because I wanted more of the book. That's how I feel with novellas, because this is only 129 pages long. So I wish the ending had been a little longer with a little more substance to it, but I am happy with how it ended and I'm excited to see where we're going from here. I would highly recommend this to anyone who is a fan of Grimm's fairy tales, of creepy, twisted kidlit, obviously of Alice in Wonderland, Over the Garden Wall, everything I've already mentioned. Yeah, I like it. Sorry, I shouldn't bite my books. Oh, I got lipstick on it. Sorry, they just end up in my mouth sometimes. Thank you again to Isaac Anderson for sending me a copy of The Garden Maze. I appreciate you. Oh, and if you want to see more of Isaac, go check out the live stream that we did on Bald and Balding's channel. We participated in the creature creation stream together and we created the greatest, most terrifying monster of all time. I'll link that down below. The next book is another book I actually read. And it's The Magic Fix by Mark Montanaro. Mark sent me this quite a while ago, so I apologize, Mark, that it's taking me so long to get to it. As I said, this series of the indie books per month is me catching up on all of the books I've been sent. So thank you, Mark, for sending me a copy of The Magic Fix. I almost said Magic Fist. I really liked this as well. This is a fantasy comedy. Another very short read. The Magic Fix takes place in the known land, which is this map on the front here. The known land has been divided amongst fantasy creatures like trolls, ogres, pixies, humans, goblins, and elves. I might as well just read what's on the front of the book. The story follows a group of rebels who are looking for a fix for the world so that the known world is not destroyed. I really did enjoy all of the characters. I found them a little bit too samey, matchy at the start, but they really did come into their own quite quickly as the story developed. What carries this book is absolutely the humor. This is a funny book that's actually funny, thank God. Sorry, that might have been a little too aggressive, but sometimes I read books that are like, this is a comedy and it's not funny. This, The Magic Fix, I actually laughed out loud. I thought it was quite humorous. My favorite characters were Fulton and Ridley. They had an excellent dynamic. They were the funniest in my opinions, but all of the characters I did like overall, as I mentioned. This had some of the same, not pitfalls, but like same issues as The Garden Maze, which is just some stuff was a little rushed and I would have liked to seen it fleshed out a little more, but overall that didn't detract from the story and I had a really good time reading it. And I would recommend this to fans of The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. General D&D players I think would also enjoy this. Like if you're a fan of Critical Role, I think you should read this book. And thank you again to Mark Montanaro for sending me a copy of The Magic Fix. I will be linking purchase links to all of these books in the description, so if you want to buy any of these for yourself, just check them out down there. I really think that I'm gonna catch on fire one of these days. Don't. Okay, next up, as another book I was sent. This one at least more recently because it only just came out. It's A Memory of Song by Scott Palmer, and it is signed. Scott sent me the hardcover, but it's also available in paperback, and I think the naked hardcover is really pretty. I'm actually gonna just leave it like this so that you don't know what the title is anymore. As I said, this is a very recent release and actually worked with Scott to get this into some Indigo locations. We're still working on a few more local to him, but we do sell this at my store. And I kid you not, the day we got it in, we sold 3 copies. So well done. So now we're into the realm of books I haven't read yet, but this sounds really, really up my alley. The shout line on the back is, "In a dying land, the armies of the dead hold sway, and those who rule them are more god than human," which sounds sick. It feels very historical fiction. Historical fiction by the way of Bernard Cornwell, where there is absolutely magic in here, but I think we're gonna be focusing more on battles and history and politicking than magic itself. I don't know, I'm making that up, but that's the vibe I'm getting. Our main character is the last heir to a northern throne, but his family has been murdered, his lands have been taken, and he is a refugee. Ooh, that kind of gives me the will of the many. An order of warlocks has returned to his lands with blood magic, seeking to destroy all. The last line on here is, "Fires refuse to burn. The skies are thirsty and breathless. The earth won't eat its rot. Welcome to Ardura." This sounds great. Like I said, it does give me Bernard Cornwell, the Winter King. It's also, for whatever reason, I'm getting Gareth Hanrahan, The Sword Defiant, as well as, oh my god, I just had a book in my head and it's gone. I don't know, kind of John Gwynne. It's giving awesome. This is exactly what I'm looking for in a fantasy book, as I will not shut up about the Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell. And it's just giving me such similar vibes that I feel that I will like this. Thank you, Scott, for sending me this book. And if you're a Southern Ontario girly, you might be able to pick it up at your local Indigo or in the purchase link in the description. Next is a book from an author that I've also worked with to get his books into Indigo stores around my area, but also in his area. I have another Andy Pelican book. But this time it's Child of the Night Guild. This is much shorter than his other books that I've talked about before on the channel. And Andy did send me this a while ago along with Darkblade Assassin, which I have read. I'm pointing behind me because it's over there, but I haven't gotten to Child of the Night Guild yet. But I do have this book in stores, and I had about 6 copies. The Darkblade series moves quite quickly through the stores. We sell it a lot. This one kind of sat untouched for a bit, and I don't know why, because it's thinner and cheaper than the other books. But just this last 2 weeks, we sold all of them. We just sold all 6 copies like that. I don't know why. I wasn't there. I was away. And then I came back and they were gone and I have to get more. And people have been asking for the sequel. Andy, people are asking for the sequel. We need to talk. It sort of reinvigorated me to actually get to this one because I really enjoyed Darkblade Assassin, his other book that he sent me. I'm not normally a huge fan of thief, rogue, spy fantasy. I never play as those characters in video games, but I am intrigued. So we start off with a young girl named Viola who was sold by her father to a thieves guild to pay his gambling debts. She becomes a thief apprentice and has a very, very difficult childhood. But over time, they have molded her from that innocent little girl into an agile outlaw thief. It's pretty straightforward. She has to steal enough to pay off her debts and avoid the city guards, and it's very difficult. But within the guild itself, there is a rival, bloodthirsty apprentice who is threatened by her strength and is out for blood. This is the first book in a series. I think he's working on the 3rd one currently. I'll check after and correct myself if I'm wrong. So thank you, Andy, for sending me this. And also, bonus news, if you are a Southern Ontario girly, you can come and meet Andy in November. He's actually flying out from the West Coast to do a couple of signing events in my area. I'm gonna be hosting him at our store and then helping him get around to other stores. And yeah, he's gonna be here for a number of days in November. We're gonna be selling a lot of his books. He's gonna be signing, he's gonna be talking. You can meet him, you can take pictures with him. I'm still nailing down the dates and all the details, but it's end of November. It's like the 23rd-ish. We're still figuring it out, but yeah, you can meet Andy Pelican. Next is a book I talked about pretty recently because it's a book that I have an arc of. So I talked about it in my arc haul video. That's the one where I talked about it. It's an Exile of Water and Gold by Joshua Walker. Now, I've already read and reviewed the prequel novella, The Rest of the Gods, but this is book 1 in the series now. So I've received an arc from Josh of the first book. It's coming out September 3rd, and I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I have gone through the first couple pages just to feel it out a bit, and it's very well written. I already knew that I liked Josh's style from the novella, which we also sell in Indigo stores. So I'm not surprised at all that that style and sense of world have carried over into an Exile of Water and Gold, and I think this is going to be a really exciting book. I won't dwell on this one too much because I just talked about it in a previous video, but essentially the story is of our main character, Drift, who is one of the Albions, and he is exiled from his lands and forced to live in Kara, which is like the human world, and make a life amongst them. As far as I can tell, he doesn't know why he's been exiled, and he's kind of trying to figure that out while also making a living. And his love, his betrothed, has followed him to Kara and is trying to find a way to bring him home. I'm not gonna have this one done before the release date, unfortunately. It's just not in the cards for me. I really tried, Josh, I'm sorry. I am gonna read it quite soon afterwards, and I'm gonna try to pick up a physical copy as well when I can. And I think similarly to Scott Palmer's book, I would recommend this to fans of big sweeping epics like John Gwynne, Ryan Cahill, Brandon Sanderson fans. I think you guys will like it. So thank you, Josh, for the arc. I'm excited to see what's next. I'm doing a lot of hand talking today. I don't know why. Sorry if it's distracting. And the final book that we're gonna be talking about in today's video comes from my Members Only TBR pick list. So I mentioned briefly at the start of the video that I've launched memberships on my channel now. Memberships give you access to a little bit of extra stuff. Right now, it's just early access to videos, member shoutouts, and the Members Only pick list. I would love to increase the perks, maybe have extra videos, extra live streams for members. I'm not in a position to do that right now because I don't have enough members to really make it work. So if you want to, if you feel like contributing, you can hit the join button just down below next to the subscribe button, I think, and become a member. There's only one tier right now because, again, I've just launched memberships. But as we do have some members, we have some picks. And the first one we're gonna be doing is Forever and Always by Christian Carrington, which is an indie novella, so it is perfect to read during Indie August. Our main character, Lono, is a former fisherman living a tranquil, peaceful, if not the most exciting life with his pregnant love of his life on their little island community. But everything is about to be disrupted when ships of unknown origin appear on the horizons and land on the island. People in the ship claim to have lost their way, but offer treats and exotic foreign gifts to appease the islanders and get their help, and everyone is originally taken by that, but Lano is not so sure. So he sneaks onto one of the ships and sees something so chilling, it threatens to change everything. This is such an interesting blurb to me because I don't have any idea where it's going. It immediately invokes Shogun for some reason, just ships from distant lands. You know, the idea of the Spanish Conquisition as well as colonization in general, it's giving colonization. I honestly don't even really know the true genre of this book because it just seems so mysterious, and even with some reviews I read quickly described it as being this like airy mystery that is very well written, and I don't know, I'm really looking forward to this. So I'm going to be reading this over the next couple of weeks. I'll put a purchase link in the description for it as well so that you can read it along with me if you like, as it is the Members TBR pick. I'm going to get it on Kindle Unlimited because it is so short. I think it might even be a novelette. But yeah, I'm excited for this one as well. It's got great ratings, and I think that if it's as good as it sounds, this is one that I'm going to be excited to share with you guys and bring more attention to. And that, my friends, is all of the Indie August books I will be reading and have read so far in August. I want to thank again all the authors who sent me their books. That's Isaac Anderson, Scott Palmer, Joshua Walker, Andy Pelican, Mark Montanaro. Thank you guys so much for sending me those books. I have had some comments recently that for my indie picks, I often do books by men, and this is true, but those are the books that are sent to me by authors. I think in my next video, we'll see, I might try to diversify it a little, get some more ladies in there, but ultimately, honestly, I'm reading the books that are interesting to me, the books that are sent to me out of the generosity of the authors. There's a certain demographic of authors that have been reaching out to me because I don't reach out to people and ask for their books. They reach out to me and offer me their books, and I really appreciate it because then I can talk about them. But I don't know, maybe September is gonna be girls only. No boys allowed in the September list, unless I change my mind entirely. Anyways, let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books, if you think you're gonna read any of these books, if they sound interesting to you at all. Purchase links are down there. I've said that like 20 times. And before I go, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell icon so you know when I upload new videos. I upload 2 days a week. I love you guys. Goodbye.